I grew up in the Emerald City. I grew up in Seattle, Washington. Go Seahawks. And while I lived there, I got to experience everything from hiking Mount Rainier to skiing Crystal Mountain, even whitewater rafting every summer. But I didn't go through these adventures alone. I have two amazing parents and two big brothers that I idolized. And I know you're probably thinking, youngest only girl. She must have been Daddy's little princess. But I assure you, I was anything but Daddy's little princess. I wanted to be just like my big brothers. And just like my big brothers, I wanted to kick butt. I was breaking bricks and breaking boards, and I got my black belt in Taekwondo, just like them. So it's really kind of Daddy's little warrior. And that was pretty good, too. I competed as a 145-pound competition fighter across the state of Washington and was even ranked first in state in the women's color belt division. So I was kicking butt, thank you, and taking names. And then I was ready for a change. I was ready to conquer a new territory, somewhere a bit warmer. So I moved from the rainy state of Washington and came to where else but the Sunshine State. I moved to Orlando in the heart of Central Florida, and I was ready to explore new opportunities and the new kingdom in front of me, or the kingdom just down the road. Turns out it was a very magical kingdom and an exciting experience. I went from being a warrior princess to being an actual princess. I was living what seemed to be a fairy tale life, and it was a fairy tale until that fairy tale turned into a nightmare for me. I became a fading flower. I went what seemed overnight from 145 pounds to 86 pounds and couldn't climb up a flight of stairs. I became sick, I became weak, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. More than anything, I was scared. I wound up in the hospital where doctors threw words at me like lupus and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, cancer. It turned out it was a misdiagnosed viral infection, but because it had been left untreated for so long, my body was shutting down. My organs began to stop functioning, and doctors gave me pills and medications that didn't help and actually made me feel miserable. I finally decided to check in with myself, and I met with a holistic doctor who was going to help me heal my body naturally. And she suggested that I start with the food I was eating. Now, I always had a pretty healthy diet, or so I thought, though I am a sucker for brownies and ice cream. But through my food, nutrition, and education, I learned the power of food and how food can help to heal our bodies, or it can cause more harm to our bodies. Now, because my immune system had become so weak, I was very sensitive to processed foods, so I could no longer tolerate things like gluten and dairy, which meant no more brownies and ice cream. But I became passionate about this new food knowledge I had and ready to take this challenge head on. So I couldn't compete in Taekwondo anymore, so I built up my strength doing mud run competitions, and I built up my strength in the kitchen too, becoming a healthy chef. I was able to heal my body naturally, and suddenly I had a new drive. I wanted to be able to help other people. $3 trillion is spent on healthcare to fight disease like cancer, like heart disease, and like type 2 diabetes, all of which continue to get worse and can be treated, even prevented, with better nutrition. So I began partnering with organizations around the world, including Disney, to educate and demonstrate to people just how healthy food and healthy living can help us to take back our health. So what is that message that I'm sharing? Some of you might be familiar with author and journalist Michael Pollan. He wrote the book In Defense of Food, and in his book he writes, "Eat food, not too much, mostly plants." And I wholeheartedly agree with that. But I would qualify that just a bit more. Please, eat food. Eat lots of food. Eat organic, whole foods, because real food is really delicious. And because not all foods are created equal. A bowl full of strawberries is going to affect your body much differently than a 0-calorie soda, even if they claim it's sugar-free. And not too much, that's pretty accurate, but no one ever got fat off of eating too much kale. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in counting calories that we forget to count the nutrients in our food, or the nutrients that are lacking in our food. Now, eat plants, yes, but don't worry. I'm not asking anyone to go vegan. I'm just saying that you can live a healthy life and it doesn't have to be restrictive to salads and raw vegetables, because I don't like salads. But what we can begin to do is focus on wellness and innovation and create foods and meals that are both good and good for us. Over the years, I've created hundreds of recipes, mostly desserts, that all incorporate fruits and vegetables, but are free of gluten, animal products, and refined sugars, because food can be deliciously healthy. And that's the message I want to share with you, is that we can start living a good life, because healthy living starts in the kitchen, and we can retake our health, because health starts with the food we eat.